Celina.
Hi.
Welcome to Founder Pulse. This is a new podcast that Shakti is doing where we're checking in with the founders who are building the future. So thank you so much for being our very first guest.
Oh, wow. No, thank you for having me.
And it's great to see you in person. Thanks for being here in New York.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
So you're the founder and CEO of Zindi, and you're even wearing your Zindi t-shirt, which I love.
I love come
the
branded.
Zindi spirit. So since it's there, and I know everyone's probably wondering, what does Zindi mean? Maybe you could start by explaining what that word is and what is Zindi.
So it is a made-up word, but it's a combination of two Swahili words. So when we were thinking about the name of the company, actually a lot of the Swahili words were taken, but we came up with Zindi. It's a combination of Nshindi and Zidisha, I think, okay, Swahili speakers out there, don't kill me. But it means to win and to grow and multiply.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, we have something in common. Both of our companies have words that end in eyes, because we're Shakti.
Yes.
Which means primordial energy in Sanskrit.
Nice.
So we have that bond.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've understand the name, which is super interesting and very beautiful. What is Zindi?
So we're the largest platform for data scientists and AI and machine learning developers in the emerging and developing markets. We have African roots, but we like to say we have African roots but global reach. I just moved back to the US after living in South Africa for the last 8+ years. And we started Zindi, almost 7 years ago now at this point. And we started Zindi as a platform where we could create space for young up-and-coming data scientists and AI and machine learning developers to build their skills, build their profiles, and connect with opportunities. And then on the other hand, for organizations that are looking at AI and data science and thinking about ways that they can really leverage these technologies, but don't always know how to find the solutions, the skills, the people that they need. So in essence, we have 85,000 people now who are on the platform. Wow. Yeah, from across 180 plus countries around the world. Within Africa, we have coverage of 52 of the 54 African countries. And the community comes together. We're really building kind of like a LinkedIn meets a GitHub for the AI market, and they come together to solve real world problems. So companies, governments, organizations can put up data sets and problems that can be solved with AI, and then our community just has at it.
Okay, I love that. Just throw a big problem out there and let all these amazing
brilliant
people
minds
from literally all over the world
yes.
can come and give it a go.
Yeah.
So can you give us an example or two of some of these problems that Zindi and Zindians, is that what you
Zindians, yes,
have
a term coined by the Zindians themselves in the first couple weeks. So the thing that we love about, or I love about data science and AI is that I like to say we get to play in everyone's backyard. Yeah. When you think about even the way AI has been going in the last couple of years, now it's really clicking for everyone how it can really disrupt and change and revolutionize like the way things are done.
Yeah.
From everything from healthcare to logistics to climate change. So we've run over 400 challenges on the platform. We've tackled so many different sectors. And then the other thing is that the technical elements that make up AI are also very diverse. Yeah. So we run challenges from, standard kind of machine learning for forecasting, more accurate forecasting models to using large language models to, solve really big problems. So some of the challenges we have open right now, for example, we're running a challenge for a healthcare provider in Kenya right now to fine-tune a open source large language model to provide antenatal care to new mothers.
Okay.
So they're taking some of the examples of the interactions that they've had with new mothers and now saying, okay, can we develop a large language model, or actually a specific language model? So that's a key component of it, to extend. So instead of serving 1 to up to 10 mothers, you can now go to hundreds and thousands.
Right.
And the specific language model element of it is that these have to be able to run on edge devices or mobile devices, because that's another component. You can't, in certain markets, you can't always depend on, internet connectivity. And
I want to talk a little bit more about that, but finish out this.
Yeah, but
this example.
So we're really excited about that challenge. That's open right now. We have many others, like in agriculture, where we're using satellite imagery to detect crop health on the ground in countries like Cote d'Ivoire, in India. There's a lot happening.
Okay, so these challenges go up, the Zindians get to work, and then there's like a leaderboard. Like, how does it, like, walk me through how it actually works?
I think
how does who wins? Is there a winner?
Part of the excitement is that we've automated the process of evaluating the solutions as they come in. Yeah. So every time someone makes a submission,
you must get a lot of submissions. That would be like a full-time job for somebody to have to look at all of them.
100%. Like every challenge, we'll get like 10,000 solutions built for that one challenge. So we evaluate the platform evaluates the solutions as they come in. The thing about AI, and now people are getting more familiar with how AI works, is that you're trying to replicate something. You're actually trying to get to an actual answer. Mm-hmm. So let's say with crop health, for example, we can take satellite data, cut it up into, different pieces and say, okay, this is a healthy crop, this is a not healthy crop, this is the type of disease that's detected here. Yeah. And so there's actually a correct answer at the end of the day. So what we do is we split the data set. We give about 80% of the satellite imagery with the actual answer of what is happening there on the ground. Okay. And then the last 20% is then just satellite imagery. Right? So now they have to develop an AI model that can actually perform the task, and now they apply it to the last 20%. And so that is, in essence, how we're able to evaluate objectively and in real time how close the models are actually performing to the correct answer.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we have about 20 different metrics that are built into the back end of the platform. And so for every challenge, someone will make a submission, they get a score back, they can make up to 200 submissions during the course. So that means that they're iterating, they're improving, they're getting that feedback. Yeah. And then so not only is the solution getting better, right, but in that process, the skills are also getting better, right? Yeah. So we'll have like up to, I think our largest challenge, we had over 2,000 people who are working on it. So the top 3 win cash prizes, which is super exciting. Even, okay, I'm going to go on a little tangent.
Go for it.
I recently ran into this young guy from Kenya, from Nigeria, but now he lives in Kenya because he is the head of data science at Equity Bank Kenya, which is a major bank. He was one of the first top winners on Zindi 7 years ago. I met him for the first time in person recently, and he pulled out his phone, his mobile phone, and he showed it to me, and he said, "You see this phone?" He said, "I bought this phone with the first prize money that I ever won."
I love that. Oh my gosh.
It's, and then since then, he's changed so many people's lives. Yes. I've met so many young people who have been mentored by him now and have said, he's told them, come on to Zindi, build your skills. He's hired people directly off of the community. He's built his whole data science team now of Zindians.
That's incredible.
So it just shows how also people, it's like the way that this can multiply and the way that people give back and build. Anyway, so it's
a real ripple. You're solving the problem, but then in doing so, everyone's learning and growing and then hiring and passing it on. It's like an incredible ripple effect.
Yeah.
That's great. You must feel really proud.
We recently hit an important milestone, which is that we've distributed now over $1 million into the hands of our community.
It's incredible. Congratulations. All right. So you're at this, you just, hit this amazing milestone. You're running into people who won, years ago, who have been out there making an impact. Talk about how it all began. I read somewhere that you call yourself an accidental entrepreneur. And I thought that was interesting. Why are you an accidental entrepreneur, Celina?
I am absolutely an accidental entrepreneur. This was a career path I never considered, never thought it was in the cards for me. I am from the Bay Area. I'm from, the San Francisco and Silicon Valley area. So I have been exposed to it. I've seen it from a distance. I went to an engineering school. I studied applied math and computer science. So in some ways, I thought that I would go into IT or tech. But I quickly pivoted my career, like after a year or two in corporate America, to pursue a career in international development. So the majority of my career has been in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, working on these development projects. But what that's done is, in a way, like then I was exposed to so many, I guess, real problems that need to be solved, if we can say that. So I've always been, I think, what I've been interested in is that intersector how can we connect like the innovations and the technologies and all these things that are coming out of a place like Silicon Valley, and how do you actually translate that into real impact or solving problems that matter to the 99% of the rest of the world? So when I moved to South Africa, I guess it was almost 10 years ago now, or 9 years ago, to run a program where I was also building a data platform. So connecting my math and the development world has been like, a passion of mine. It's something I'm really excited about. So in South Africa, I was there to build a data platform. I met my co-founders through that job, Megan and Echo, and they were running a data science consulting company. And they were working with the big banks, with the retailers, on ways that they could use data science. We connected on this excitement about, the gap that was there in the market in Africa, right? Because from their perspective, working with these companies, the narrative had been, if we want to use data, if we want to do data science or AI, like we need to go to McKinsey, out in America or in Europe and bring in these external consultants. There's no talent here that can really help us. And then on the other hand, the work that I was doing, I was connecting with all of these young people across Africa that were interested in data, pursuing careers in data science, but just didn't have those opportunities. So that's Zindi came 100%. Zindi was a passion project. We didn't necessarily think that it was. We didn't go in thinking about where it would go.
Right.
It was just, this is a problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah. So let's go solve it. And now here you are, like 8 years later. At some point, you did decide this was going to become a business, and you went out and you raised money like a good entrepreneur does. How was that? And in general, tell us a little bit about the growth trajectory. Obviously, Zindi does a lot of good in the world, but I think you also make some money. So let's talk about those pieces. So we raised a seed round, and that's where Shakti came in. And that was a few years ago. So that was kind of our first introduction to okay, this is real. This is actually happening. We have a couple of other institutional investors in Africa, Launch Africa, Founders Factory Africa. It was kind of the first introduction to really, we had already been at that point thinking about how Zindi could scale, but, it gave us the tools and I guess the resources that we needed, and the perspectives that come from having investors like Shakti and Launch Africa, having them on our cap table and with us on this journey has really changed everything for us. We've, in the last 12 months, we've doubled our revenue. We've doubled our monthly active users. Monthly active users are around 10,000 now. We're starting to look at global expansion. So that's why I say African roots, but global reach. I think a lot of the same opportunities and challenges that we see in the African market can really translate and have impact in other regions as well. So Yeah. What has it, I mean, you are the only company in our portfolio that was built in Africa. And as you've already mentioned, it's a completely different environment. Talk a little bit about what that's been like. I mean, I don't know if you have a basis for comparison, but I'm sure, I would imagine there's some challenges and also some, advantages.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's like definitely challenges and advantages. I think that, I don't even know where to start. I think that, let's just say from the AI and data science side, there's huge opportunities. I mean, in Africa, you have the fastest growing working age population in the world. Young people are more tech savvy, more educated than ever before. A lot of the global tech companies, most of them are now establishing presence in Africa. We have an AI lab. Google has their AI lab in Ghana. AWS has a data center in Cape Town in South Africa. Microsoft has a massive headquarters in Kenya. I think a lot, the global leaders are paying attention now to Africa. There's that opportunity, and there's also the opportunity in that it's new. So from Zindi's perspective, I mean, we came in like at the right time, right? When it just, the field was wide open. So I think that there was an advantage in that sense. I suppose like the disadvantage is that there's just a whole different level of challenges operating in Africa that don't exist in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a starting point, and I don't want to like start a negative narrative about investing in African startups.
No, you're just look. There's challenges in.
But I'll say just like even a starting point is the size of the market.
Yeah.
Right. So any African startup almost immediately out the gates has to start thinking about how they're going to go cross borders. How they're going to, the only expansion plan is to go outside of their own country, unfortunately. And then that introduces all types of layers of challenges, from regulatory to even currency exchange to logistics. But anyway, those are the hard, meaty challenges that African startups are digging their teeth into and solving very well.
That's great. You mentioned that when you raised your first round and you had now you had kind of an expanded team of investors that have helped shape the trajectory of the business. Let's dig into that a little bit. And just because I'm a little biased. Can you talk a little bit how Shakti has been helpful? If it has been, I hope it's been helpful.
Yeah, incredible. And you've been incredible, Jesse. So thank you so much really, Shakti's been amazing. Keval has been on this journey with us. I mean, really on this journey. Dan Zigman, who I guess is a Shakti Titan.
Yes.
He's a Shakti Titan.
He sits on our board. Program, the Titan program. Yeah.
He sits on our board. He's also an advisor to me.
Yeah.
He's also an angel investor. He does all the things.
Lots of hats.
Dan's been incredible. He's more been on the journey with me. We have, our check-ins. He's on the board. He's added a lot of value. I mean, like in the sense that we've gone through, and I think any startup founder would relate. I mean, we've been through some tough seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, some very trying moments, and Dan has been my rock. He's incredibly grounded. He's also like a Zen meditation teacher. He is. So that helps. That helps because every time there's a panic moment, I call him up and he's very calm, very grounded. And it just helps me keep perspective.
Yeah.
Also, you can get so wrapped into whatever is happening.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, it's like he's seen it. It's, it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like it seems it's like, huge to you. And then he's kind of like, he's been around the block a couple times. And so we can say,
we're going to solve it together.
We can do this.
Yeah.
You need those. We all do. Those types of people.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. What have been some you mentioned there have been some rough spots. What have been some highlights along the journey? What have been some big wins?
Oh,
In addition to that wonderful story that you shared about your first winner.
just a lot. I mean, we're super proud. We've been kind of over the years building our portfolio of clients and partners. Microsoft actually has been with us since day one.
Yeah.
Practically. And they've been our longest standing customer.
Yeah.
And we have a really great initiative with them right now to help our Zindians get skilled in Microsoft technologies, taking AI, LLM, data science like courses through Microsoft and getting certified. We have other exciting partnerships like with AWS. We just closed 2 challenges that AWS ran on our platform, which tackled the intersection between health, climate, and gender.
Very cool.
And so that was really exciting. And so we're actually right now like sharing the results of the challenges, but looking at, one of them was looking at predicting waterborne diseases in Tanzania using all types of data sets like geospatial data, satellite data, looking where the bodies of water are. I mean, it was a really exciting challenge.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think, in terms of like highlights, I guess what I'm really proud of is that we're working with the most incredible kind of industry leading companies out there.
Yeah.
And it's a huge, for me, like it puts Africa on the map. Like, even all the Zindians or the people in the African ecosystem are even proud of this, and so yeah, I mean, Google DeepMind's run a few challenges on our platform. We're hoping to do more.
Cool.
Yeah, I've watched this space.
Yes.
So yeah.
What do you see, like, where are you going? Where do you want to take Zindi? Obviously, more of the same. Do you have new ideas? Are you building out anything exciting that you can share with us?
Yeah. I mean, I think
for the future?
So. I mean, our goal is for Zindi to be this home for data scientists and AI developers who wouldn't normally have access to this global AI, dialogue, where they have something to contribute, they have something to add perspective to, to add to what's going on in AI. So I think, in terms of Zindi, we want Zindi to be the home, the platform of, we want our first million, then we want 10 million and 20 million people who are on the platform, who are building their skills, building their profile, and building solutions that matter. One of the things that people do on the platform, like as they do these challenges, as they get their certifications, this all gets rolled into their profile that they're building, which in essence is like a portfolio or like a proof of skills and a proof of work.
Yeah.
And this is incredibly powerful for especially young people who, are struggling to even get their first internship. Like we've had people who were unemployed for 1-2 years, never had gotten a job as a data scientist, and then got hired as a mid-level data scientist because of the work that they did on Zindi. So
and because they had this portfolio, to show to employers. That's
exactly.
That's very compelling.
So we want the Zindi profile to be the gold standard.
Yes.
That everyone who is pursuing a career in AI will have their Zindi profile, and every company that is looking for talent will look for the Zindi profile to know who they should be hiring.
Like a stamp of, and in this AI world where things are moving so quickly, in a way, it's hard for a lot of, it's hard to keep up. So it's, and where you've got partnerships with all those companies that are getting the latest and greatest out there.
It's a lifelong learning journey, and it has to be, because the sector, even in the last month or 2 months, things are changing so fast. So no one can sleep on it. You know, if you're pursuing a career in this, you have to be continuing your journey every single day.
Yeah.
And so that's what Zindi is providing, a space for that.
Yeah, that's very cool. Talk a little bit about, you've talked about how Zindi helps people get jobs. How have you built the team over these past years? And what's been hard, or what are some big triumphs been in that piece of it? Because we know that that's always really tricky, hiring and team building.
It is. I mean, we have an incredible team at the moment. I'm so proud of the team and what they've done. Sometimes it's like our dirty secret to say that we're a team of 10. And sometimes people, which is not surprising, to founders, because usually we have small teams. But I guess, when I meet people and they've known Zindi for years and they've seen the things we're doing, they're always shocked or think that we have many more people behind the scenes. But it's a small, tight team.
Yeah.
Interestingly, we're remote. I mean, COVID, did a number on us. Mm-hmm. We used to have an office and a team in Cape Town. But, on the other hand, it's opened up new opportunities for us. So once we went remote, then we started to open our eyes to hiring, just people anywhere, the best talent anywhere. So, our team is very diverse. We have, people in Kenya and Nigeria and South Africa. And then now a few people in Europe, actually. So in Portugal, UK, the Netherlands. And it's, it comes with trade-offs, right?
Yeah. Like when is your team meeting? Like what time?
I know.
What time is it that you can all be together on a video call?
I'm the problem child though in the US. It's me. I'm the problem. We have our stand-ups now in their afternoon, my morning, unfortunately for them.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, and clearly you're making it work.
But I think the key to and also incredible is a lot of the team has been with us since almost the beginning. I mean, I tell them that it's like people don't even stay in corporate jobs this long.
Yeah.
They're staying a long time. In the startup world, this is unheard of. But we have a good core team that's been with us since the beginning. And I think that the key to what's been happening is that everyone believes in the mission. Everyone holds the mission close. And that, I think that motivates people, and that also helps in terms of solving problems because they have, they own the mission.
Yeah. So
actually with each person coming from different perspectives or different ideas, it's we're so aligned on what we're trying to achieve. It works so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you strike a balance between being mission driven and also making sure that you are, hitting your revenue goals, and do those kind of work hand in hand, or do you ever find yourself having to make trade-offs?
They sometimes work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we've even drawn out as a team, we've drawn our Venn diagrams and been we need to operate right here. Where it's serving our it's serving our clients who are the paying companies that run the challenges on the platform, hire talent. And then we look at our community of Zindians and what serves them as well, even though they're not paying. Right. It's so we look at that, and we've always said with limited resources, with limited time and resources, it's where do we prioritize? We prioritize in the intersect, where we can serve our community and also make money and make revenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about going the nonprofit route? I know that was your background.
To be honest, not in a serious way. I mean, I think that, with my experience in the nonprofit world, I'm also very clear-eyed about how hard it is to raise funding in the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
Same challenges, different story, different, forms that you fill out.
You're the master of your own destiny when you're bringing in revenue and paying your own bills, and you 100%. Can decide rather than be beholden to the next grant or whatever.
And I think, and the thing that is very rewarding for me, having spent many years in that space, is that I can say with the $1 million plus that we've raised, we have had, 10 times the impact that I've ever had in any of the other organizations that took in multiples of that to do less. I'm sorry to say that, but
that's great.
But I'm super proud of that. I think that you're right. Because we're funding ourselves with our revenue, we're able to really shape this in the way that we know works the best.
Yep. Let's talk about AI. Obviously, that's been at the heart of what you've been doing. It's moving so quickly. Every day there's some cool new idea. Everything's getting better. You could do things.
Yeah.
What excites you most about AI, like in general, and then in the Zindi context as well?
I think that, something that I've been thinking about, is AI obviously is also having major, I guess, is a resource hungry technology. And I think that, the cutting edge of what's happening, that's super exciting, solving many different problems, agentic AI, like all the things that are happening, super exciting. I think the space that will come up next is about how do we make this efficient and accessible, and less, I guess less impactful, less environmental impact, less hungry. And so I think that's a space that I'm really keen to watch. I mean, even like with what DeepSeek did, like there's definitely, it's not just if I'm putting on the Zindi hat, it's not just an Africa thing. It's actually something that everyone's going to be trying to solve, even in the US where we do have a lot of resources. And what that is going to do, and even like the example of the health bot that we're building for Kenya, it's also about lighter models that can work in all types of contexts as well. So that's going to have a multiplying effect in terms of the impact and the reach that AI can have. The number of lives that it can change, the number of use cases that can be built actually. So I'm excited to see how we can look at efficiency of AI. We recently just closed another challenge that was to work on also specific, like to take open source large language models and turn them into specific language models for different local African languages. This is in partnership with Lelapa AI, which is a startup in South Africa. And we ran a challenge to kind of like, improve the models. So not only did the models improve, but actually the winning models were 75% more efficient than the models that Lelapa was working with. So they were super excited. And, but that's an example. Like, I think that sometimes to look at efficiency, it's almost more powerful to have the people who are resource constrained and like living the need for efficiency in a real way, right? So anyway, so that's some of the stuff that I'm really watching carefully.
That's a great story. And I should have asked you this earlier. The final step, the solutions that the winning solutions, the winners get money. Yeah. But then those solutions like come into the real world, right?
Yes.
And start to have an impact. Like, so can you tell us give us an example of where Zindi solution has actually made its way?
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few. Let's see. Okay, the sea turtles. We ran a challenge to do facial recognition on sea turtles, and this was in partnership with Google DeepMind.
Okay.
And with a nonprofit organization, conservation organization in Kenya, that was working off the coast of Kenya, rescuing sea turtles, tagging them, and they had this incredible database of close-up facial pictures of sea turtles that no other organization really had. And so the idea was with facial recognition for the sea turtles, the unique like pattern that's on their face is like a fingerprint, and that would eliminate, to a certain extent, the need for tagging, which can actually be harmful to the health of the sea turtles, can be expensive, can be unreliable. And so we ran this as a challenge. The solutions are, now made open source. And what's exciting to me is that this is a solution that came out of Kenya, but can actually have, implications for any sea turtle conservation efforts around the world. So that's one. But another very tangible like business example is that we also did a challenge for Zimnat, which is the largest insurance company in Zimbabwe. they were concerned about people churning out of their healthcare system or their health insurance, especially during COVID. Like they were, there was a realization that people were going to actually just stop paying and not have health insurance at a time when they need it the most. So we ran a challenge on Zindi to predict which customers were most likely to fall out of the system in the next 6 months. And so with that, so to your point, they own the solution now. They put that into the dashboards that their customer service reps were using, and they were able to reduce the customer churn by 30% that year. Yeah.
Wow, from sea turtles to insurance churn. That is both extremely impactful.
Yeah. And Zimnet hired one of the data scientists in Zimbabwe. Yes.
Wow. Like these are like life-changing, world-changing contests. Yeah. But it's time for the lightning round. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you can just don't think too hard. Just throw out the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. 1 productivity hack that you swear by.
Oh, time blocking. I do sales calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, internal calls on Mondays and Fridays, and Wednesdays is a no meeting day.
I like it. Best founder advice that you have ever received?
This is from Cable that he's told me since the beginning, but it's just focus. It's actually the power of no, which is very scary.
It's really hard being a founder. Any regrets? Do you wish you'd just stayed at McKinsey and let a corporate existed, Celina?
No, never.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Founder Pulse.
Aww.
If anyone wants to learn more about Zindi, your site is zindi.africa, and you can check out all the amazing challenges that are running. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much, Jesse.